he's off in Greenland doing God knows what.
That was one neighbor reacting to a growing movement to recall Governor Jeff Landry that's now making its way through Central Louisiana. The group Louisiana Deserves Better is leading the effort, holding signing events across the state to gather support for a recall petition. Under Louisiana law, organizers have 180 days to collect signatures from 20% of the state's voting age population since filing the petition in March. That adds up to about 500,000 signatures needed by November. One of those signing events is happening tomorrow in Alexandria. Organizers say people from all backgrounds are getting involved for different reasons.
You've got carbon capture, you've got data centers. There's a million different reasons that people from all across the spectrum have for wanting to get this man out, but ultimately he is not serving us.
The Alexandria signing event will take place at Bringhurst City Park between Masonic Drive and Rensselaer Street. It runs from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Another event is also scheduled in Leesville from 8 a.m. to noon at 1111 Boone Street.